Mexico, Honduras, and Bolivia are nations deeply penetrated by criminal organizations wielding the clout of illegal narcotics trading to infiltrate political realms. But imagine a European country grappling with a similar menace. Picture a vast underground syndicate orchestrating Europe's predominant drug influx through bribery, torture, and overt assassinations. This scenario traces back to a seemingly harmless agreement between two nations, which catalyzed the emergence of one of the world's most formidable criminal enterprises. This narrative chronicles the rise of the Mocro Mafia, now the foremost security concern for the Netherlands. To grasp why the Mocro Mafia issue has become so entrenched in the Netherlands, it's crucial to understand the historical context of the relationship between the two nations. In the 1960s, the economic liberalization across Western Europe was spurring considerable growth during the post-war era. Much of the Netherlands had been ravaged by Germany during the Second World War, and more than 2 decades later, the country was still in the throes of reconstruction. On the 14th of May, 1969, Morocco and the Netherlands inked a bilateral agreement permitting Moroccan laborers to move to the Netherlands as guest workers. This arrangement was strategically beneficial. It aimed to supply the Dutch construction boom with affordable labor while offering Moroccan migrants decent wages in a new setting. However, the Netherlands was not the only country to recognize this opportunity. 5 years earlier, in 1964, Belgium had already established a similar agreement with Morocco. This era of substantial migration quickly led to the growth of a Moroccan diaspora within the Netherlands. Before long, a robust community with ties to North Africa emerged, many of whom were second-generation immigrants, as Dutch in their identity as they were Moroccan. The existence of this community, particularly in cities like Rotterdam, has been pivotal to the expansion of the narcotics trade. While the Dutch were focused on rebuilding their nation, there was also a growing interest in more leisurely pursuits, notably cannabis. By the 1970s, the Netherlands had relaxed its laws on the possession and use of cannabis, creating a substantial domestic demand for the substance. Fortuitously, Morocco, particularly the Rif region, is renowned for its long-standing cultivation of hashish and is the largest producer globally. As the demand for cannabis increased, the guest workers reached out to their families back home who had been cultivating the plant for generations to capitalize on this burgeoning market. These imports escalated until a clandestine drug trade nexus developed in major transport hubs, such as Rotterdam and Amsterdam. The trade eventually expanded beyond just cannabis. The highly profitable cocaine industry surged, and by 2003, the most significant urban areas in the Netherlands were dominated by the Mocro Mafia, a notorious gang of drug dealers of Moroccan descent. Their criminal activities extend well beyond narcotics trafficking, encompassing money laundering, prostitution rings, and other illicit enterprises. The gang does not operate in isolation. It collaborates with other European criminal organizations to widen its scope and influence. By forging alliances with major international entities like the Italian Mafia and Russian criminal groups, the Mocro Mafia gained access to vital resources, including weaponry, political contacts, and money laundering networks. These connections enabled them to seize a significant share of Europe's drug market. Such strategic partnerships propelled them to become one of the most formidable criminal organizations globally in just a few short years. The Mocro Mafia is regarded as one of Europe's most adept criminal organizations, credited with their ability to swiftly adapt to evolving situations while upholding core values of loyalty and cooperation among its members. Originating from modest beginnings within Dutch immigrant communities around 2002 to 2003, it has escalated to become one of the major narcotics traders in Europe, with extensive networks that reach well beyond the Netherlands. The future appears promising for this potent crime syndicate, which continues to flourish despite intense efforts by authorities to dismantle it. Understanding the origins of the Mocro Mafia is crucial, but comprehending their operational tactics is equally revealing. How such a diverse collective manages to function so cohesively might offer deeper insights into the workings of the Netherlands than initially anticipated. Whether one likes it or not, the Netherlands might not be the first country that springs to mind when considering violence. On the Human Development Index, a United Nations gauge of living conditions, the Netherlands is ranked 10th globally. Nevertheless, the level of crime-related behavior in the country is startling. Violence is a significant component of the Mocro Mafia's reputation. The gang's stronghold on the narcotics trade has precipitated a surge in violent crime across Dutch cities. In the shadows of the Dutch landscape, a place usually praised for its high living standards and serene beauty, a more sinister reality lurks due to the illegal drug trade. The presence of the Mocro Mafia has embedded a dark streak in this seemingly tranquil territory, known for ruthless drug deals, ferocious turf wars, and cold-blooded assassinations, this gang has turned urban areas into battlegrounds where violence is all too common. The brutality, however, extends beyond mere gang disputes, revealing deeply troubling behaviors. A shocking discovery in 2016 underscored the grave nature of these criminal undertakings. Authorities unearthed a soundproofed torture chamber, a grim facility believed to be operated by narcotics traffickers. This revelation occurred during the latest trial of 11 suspects, including the alleged kingpin known as Roger Pietcosta P. They stood accused of orchestrating murder plans against their rivals, utilizing this chilling site located in Boesplantage, Brabant. The police, guided by intercepted communications, located 7 shipping containers in a secluded area. 6 served as makeshift cells, grimly outfitted with handcuffs and leg cuffs. The 7th container harbored a grotesquely adapted dentist's chair, complete with restraints for limbs, alongside an array of torture implements such as finger clamps, scalpels, claw hammers, pliers, loppers, pruning shears, gas burners, tie wraps and duct tape. The meticulous soundproofing of the container only added to the horror, sealing off any cries for help from the outside world. This macabre discovery was a stark reminder of the extreme lengths to which these criminal elements will go, shedding light on a sinister underworld operating beneath the Netherlands' serene facade. In a chilling escalation of criminal audacity, officers discovered a freezer in the torture chamber site large enough to accommodate multiple individuals and a mortar mixing tub intended for waterboarding victims. This further darkened the horrific narrative presented in court. It was revealed that a second site in Rotterdam served as a base for an arrest team tasked with abducting targets to be brought to the gruesome facility in WU's Plantage. The malign influence of the Mocro Mafia appears to reach beyond physical violence and into the very fabric of local governance. Allegations have surfaced suggesting that members of this notorious gang have infiltrated local politics, manipulating decision-makers through bribes, threats, and coercion. This infiltration has led to more relaxed regulations and lenient sentences for those embroiled in drug-related and other illicit activities. Furthermore, corruption has seeped into the Netherlands' world-renowned ports, where the integrity of workers can be compromised for sums as significant as €20,000. This was exemplified by the case of Gerrit G., a customs officer who colluded with criminal gangs to facilitate the unchecked flow of narcotics through Rotterdam, thereby highlighting the deep-rooted challenges facing law enforcement in curbing such sophisticated and pervasive criminal networks. In a particularly audacious instance, over 300 kilograms of cocaine were smuggled into Europe via shipping containers, facilitated by Gerrit G's manipulation. Gang members compensated Gerrit with 7.5% of the narcotics value for ensuring their unimpeded passage through the harbour. Stationed in the pre-arrival department where containers are selected for screening, Gerrit exploited his position to exempt his clients' shipments from checks, thus securing their undetected entry into Europe. This scenario is not merely driven by corruption fueled by greed. Those who dare to oppose the Mocro Mafia face severe repercussions. The lives of individuals standing against this formidable criminal force are in grave danger. This stark reality is highlighted in the ongoing Marengo trial, which involves 17 high-profile Dutch-Moroccan criminals, with the notorious cocaine baron Ridouan Taghi at the forefront. The perils faced by those involved in legal proceedings against such elements were tragically underscored by the assassination of Peter de Vries, the respected investigative journalist and crime reporter who had been supporting the Crown witness in the trial, was fatally shot by a gunman as he left an RTL television studio in Amsterdam. This brutal act followed the earlier murder of the Crown witness's lawyer, Dirk Wiersum, who was also killed by individuals connected to the criminal syndicate, reinforcing the perilous nature of challenging the Mocro Mafia's entrenched criminal network. The message is unequivocally clear. It doesn't matter who you are, we can reach you. Such is their influence that even the Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, was placed under substantial police protection following the assassination of Peter de Vries, amidst concerns for his own safety. The Mocro Mafia has cemented its formidable presence in the Netherlands through a ruthless combination of extreme violence, bribery, and intimidation. While high levels of violence are commonplace in drug trafficking, the situation in the Netherlands is distinctively alarming across Europe, with even journalists and lawyers becoming targets. The extent to which these gangs exert control over everyday life may not be surprising in some South American nations, but for a Western European country, it is profoundly disturbing. This is precisely why Dutch authorities are determined to dismantle this criminal network. However, the challenge remains daunting. How to eradicate an organization that has burgeoned to immense proportions right under their noses for decades. It is estimated that 80% of all drugs entering Europe pass through Rotterdam and Antwerp, with the Mocro Mafia controlling an astonishing 33% of that cocaine trafficking. With such a significant volume of narcotics flowing into the Benelux countries, the challenge for authorities to curb this influx is immense. But to what extent are law enforcement agencies going to tackle this issue? Let's explore how police investigations and operations are mounting a response to this formidable threat. The police approach to countering this menace has been comprehensive and multifaceted. On one side, investigative teams have been tirelessly assembling evidence from various sources to construct cases against the Mocro Mafia. They have utilized everything from wiretaps and surveillance footage to undercover operatives, sparing no resource in their quest. However, despite their vigorous efforts, it remains challenging for prosecutors to conclusively demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt that an individual is part of an organized crime syndicate. The severe repercussions of working on these cases deter many from delving deeper. Moreover, law enforcement has adopted a more forceful stance in its operations against the syndicate. Raids on suspected gang hideouts have become increasingly frequent as police strive to preempt any potential threats from these criminals. Despite these aggressive measures, including numerous raids and arrests, the flow of narcotics continues to escalate, seemingly undeterred by the intensive police efforts. While there has been some headway in prosecuting members of the Mocro Mafia, numerous challenges persist. Gathering sufficient evidence that can endure the scrutiny of legal proceedings without infringing on citizens' rights or endangering informants remains a significant hurdle. Jan Moys, a Dutch crime journalist, has referred to the Marengo trial as a critical test of the Dutch legal system. He suggests that should the accused receive lenient sentences, it could severely undermine police efforts to suppress the illegal narcotics trade. If the punishments are insufficiently severe, what will deter the trade from expanding further? Moreover, due to changes in drug laws across Europe over recent decades, some criminal charges linked to drug trafficking no longer carry as severe penalties as they used to, complicating the task for prosecutors trying to secure convictions against members of serious organized crime groups. Despite these hurdles, law enforcement agencies across Europe have made headway against organized crime groups like the Mocro Mafia. They have employed intelligence gathering techniques such as wiretapping and sting operations, specifically targeting high-profile criminals within these organizations. On the 28th of November 2022, Europol announced a significant achievement with the seizure of 30 tons of cocaine, an operation involving collaboration between authorities from 6 major European nations. While these successes are indeed significant, substantial work remains to be done before crime groups like the Mocro Mafia are genuinely curtailed from causing turmoil across Europe. If solving crime were as straightforward as apprehending offenders in the act, incarcerating them, and discarding the key, the world would be devoid of criminals. Unfortunately for law enforcement, drug trafficking is a complex issue that permeates various facets of everyday life. Addressing this challenge involves confronting poverty, corruption, and gang violence, among other societal issues. The Mocro Mafia originated from a well-intentioned agreement between 2 countries in the post-war period, but it has since utilized threats, murder, and bribery to solidify its stronghold on the Dutch and broader European drug markets. Although there has been notable progress in combating the gang, its influence in Rotterdam and Amsterdam remains conspicuously evident. What are your thoughts? Could the Netherlands be considered a narco-state? What measures do you believe are necessary to dismantle the Mocro Mafia? Share your opinions in the comments below. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this investigative rundown enlightening, do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the Pursuit of Perpetrators channel. Don't forget to give the bell icon a tap too, ensuring you stay updated with each new video I release. Your support means a great deal to me, and I'm eager to reconvene with you tomorrow. Until then, maintain that inquisitive spirit and never cease in your quest for truth.